What's your name?
Denise Porter Cagnolati.
How old are you?
I will not answer that question. That is a violation of civil rights. I do not have to tell age due to age discrimination.
Okay. Where were you born?
New
What
Orleans,
schools did you
Louisiana.
attend?
I attended St. Gabriel Elementary School, Seton Academy High School, University of New Orleans, Southern University of New Orleans, Xavier University.
Oh, wow, that's a lot. Do you have children?
One child, a beautiful, awesome daughter named Sydney.
What jobs have you held?
Oh my. I've changed careers to be an accountant for the federal government, and then I decided to change careers and become a teacher. And now I'm a language art teacher and a reading interventionist.
Ah, yes. Um, Places you have lived or
I've
moved to?
only resided in New Orleans, Louisiana. I presently live in Gretna, Louisiana.
Oh, that's lovely. So my first question how do you is think
Children. Not that we were boastful, but it was required by our parents that we studied, maintain our grades. School came before any other recreation. So therefore, yes, it was expected not only that we graduate, but that we pursue higher education.
so was it popular for everyone? Like
Uh,
most people
Most
to
people know that was the big thing. My dad had a master's degree, and he was also a supervisor in the post office. He was one of the he became a supervisor in the post office when African Americans were first being promoted, and so therefore it was expected that we aim high,
hmm
but that was inside the family. Outside, other people knew that we were gonna do well because our father had that expectation, but no one, other kids, no, they looked at. Um, there was a school called Rob Wayne, and it was considered a trade school. Many students aspired to attend Rob Wayne so that they become, at most, nurses assistants, but mostly were looking to become hair stylists or they weren't worried about working. Some of them would go into clerical field, but most of them were looking for just doing a factory work.
When you were growing up, were there any women that had high roles in like high positions in their
You
field
know,
of work,
um,
such as like a principal or like a manager?
well, like I said, my mom was the cafeteria manager, which you would not say was such a high role because still was she was like the manager over two or three employees, and then the office, the main office, had someone over them, but not many, not many. And I know I didn't tell you the year I was born, but I grew up in the early '70s, and so um, I remember one neighbor having being a nurse, a registered nurse, but she wasn't in management. Everybody else in it, and actually, ironically, everybody else in the neighborhood, women, when they decided to go to work, it was my mom who secured jobs for them and
Mm-hmm.
was getting them positions because everybody knew how to cook.
Yeah.
And we also had a seamstress in the neighborhood, but she wasn't a manager or supervisor. We had mostly everybody was laborer, and this was the women.
Oh, okay. What were the popular expectations from for women, like as far as you can remember? Did everyone view, like all the men that you knew, did they view women as homemakers?
I think so until women start changing things for themselves. Or as my aunts, I had a lot of aunts, and everyone stayed home. And like I said, as my mom got a job. I'm not sure how she got the job, but when she became manager, then she hired the lady across the street, and she hired my aunt, and then she she hired another lady, and that lady went on to be a manager at her own school, and that lady hired people. And so I think things started to change afterwards, after women started making changes. But as long as my parents and aunts remained home, I think we had the perception that that's what women were supposed to do. And that was not their expectation for us, but that might have been our, um, it, that's what we were expecting. And that's what we thought of. But my mom, she always let you know that you were going to do something.
Yeah. Oh, my final question. Um, what jobs seem to be most commonly held by women?
Then back then,
Yeah.
teacher. If you were, but as far as the people I knew, it was that homemaker transitioning into using the skills from homemaker. As I said, one lady was a seamstress, and almost everyone else in the neighborhood were cafeteria employees. Thanks to my mom, there was a lady who lived across the street, was a custodial worker at the school. So that's pretty much, they used the skills of cleaning, cooking, and sewing, and that's where they secured. Okay, this was during a time when, even though Brown versus Board
Board
of
of Education.
Education had already passed many years, it took a while for people to implement. And being that we were talking about the Catholic schools, they followed through even later. And so we're talking maybe late '60s, early '70s. People were starting to work, and there were many schools, meaning on this corner was one school that was traditionally for black children, and on this corner was another school which was traditionally for white children. But now they've had integration, and so these employees were able to cook and clean at their school.